the U.S. has officially passed 3 million corona cases, and I made a video earlier on, the whole new surge and what I think would happen. And unfortunately, I was pretty much right in what I said. It's been a huge continuation or reignition of the first spike. We see, look, I'll put graphs on the screen for you guys to watch, but yeah, so the active cases have basically exploded from what was kind of a plateau in early June, but then of course you had all these states reopen up. You had mass protests, people not wearing masks, and now all of a sudden, wearing masks is no longer some kind of political football. Now it's like, oh, now everybody has to wear a mask when they could have been saying this like 3 months ago. But all right, anyway, so yeah, June 1st, you had 1 million currently infected, so active cases, and now, 1 month later, you're at 1.6. So a 1.6x increase, almost not exactly doubling, but I suspect there will be a doubling by the end of this month around. Because look, the last 2 days we've had around 60,000 new cases every day, and Dr. Fauci, said to expect 100,000 cases. That's huge. That means we're not even half. That means we're just about halfway in the amount of cases we're going to get daily, and this already looks really bad. And people are saying, "Oh, but the deaths are still, low." But guys, we've this is not like some new virus anymore. We kind of know how it works a little bit, and we know that it takes 2 weeks to 20 days for people who are diagnosed to die. And so obviously the initial spike, which happened the huge rise was kind of 20 days ago, 15, 20 days ago. And now we're starting to see like a bit of a rise in deaths. So I'll put that on the screen as well for you guys. So you see, 600 slowly declining from, I don't know. So beginning of June, we were at like 900. By the end of June, we were at like 600, 500. And now beginning of July, seems like we're starting to kind of get back on the increase, with a slight jump. Yesterday, for example, we had 990 deaths. Sorry, the day before yesterday we had 990 deaths, and yesterday we had 890 deaths. So it's not looking good. And by the way, this is still from basically 2 weeks ago. So right now is the 9th of July. So this is essentially the deaths of like 20 June. 20 June, we're still at 1.2 million cases, and now we're at 1.6. And this is still not the end, right? So we're at 60K. We're gonna get to 100K according to Dr. Fauci. So it's not looking great, guys. But of course, I expect the death rate to be slightly lower because we have more tests, and it seems like it's increasingly younger people that are catching it this time around. But that's not to mean there's going to be little deaths. So there's still, I expect it to be like 1.5, even 2,000 cases, 2,000 deaths a day in the next coming weeks, which is really sad. And on top of this, you also have positive test rates increasing. So previously, I think yesterday we had around 8.3%. Now we're at 9.7%. So that's huge. That's a huge jump in that. So basically, like, what this means is you do a certain when you do a certain amount of tests. Like yesterday, we did like 500,600,000. 8% of those 2 days ago were positive. Yesterday, 9.7% were positive. So we're not really going in the right direction in terms of the positivity rate for testing. And by the way, between yesterday and the day before, we did basically the same amount of tests. So it's not a thing of more tests. Although of course, I'm sure we would find more tests now than we would have back in the day when we were doing like 30,000 or 50,000 tests a day. So of course that's something to bear in mind. But on top of that, we also have new jobless claims, unemployment benefits claims. So you got 1.3 million new unemployment claims this week. So just to put this kind of in perspective, since the beginning of this crisis, we've had 50 million unemployment claims. Now we have 165 million people in the workforce. So that's 1/3 of the entire workforce basically jobless or had at one point filed for unemployment. And on top of that, you have now 1/3 of the country now saying they're going to struggle or will not pay rent, which basically means foreclosure, eviction crisis could be on its way. Listen, I don't know if this is what China wanted. I don't know if this was a purposeful attack, but it certainly destroyed many of the institutions and a lot of the trust between the people and the institutions that are the base of a functioning state. Not only with, George Floyd, but also with this virus and how the government has failed to respond in a adequate manner. Because listen, guys, I don't see any other countries really having a huge surge. Listen, this is the jump we're having in the U.S. and I'll put a screenshot of what's happening in Germany. Do you see that? Like, look, this is the U.S. The little plateau. It goes all the way back up again. Germany has a tiny little bump and it goes back down. Because listen, it's not hard to isolate the spot and to quarantine that area and then everything's fine. But because the states, obviously I'm not suggesting closing off state borders. That's obviously unconstitutional and it shouldn't happen. But it's inevitable that if you have like Florida, for example, who's first of all hiding their deaths, second of all, they're basically the new epicenter of the world. Next to a bunch of counties which are green at the moment, those counties will inevitably become darker because they're going to travel, and then as a result, it's going to continue spreading. Just like New York recently had this 2-week quarantine for everybody that comes in from out of state, and there's no real way of enforcing it, but you have to hope people comply. I hope people do comply because I think we want to get back to work and all that stuff, but the public health crisis seems to be not getting better but getting worse because of incompetence and ignorance and the whole mask fiasco partly, and the whole protest fiasco partly, and just all these big miscalculations by people, not only in power but also by normal working people, who are who politicize this especially. Those that politicize this, I hate you. All you're supposed to do in this crisis was listen to doctors and these people like Rand Paul, for example, going after Fauci. What the fuck? Who the fuck do you think you are? Do you have a degree in epidemiology? I don't think so. So if you don't have one, shut the fuck up. As far as I'm concerned, why should we listen to you? Because as far as I know pretty much as you do, right? We're on the same starting base, whereas people that have studied for 12, 15 years and are into this kind of into epidemiology, we listen to those people because they know what they're talking about. They have far more concrete, deeply thought out opinions and reasonable thoughts, reasonable evidence to suggest and to back up their arguments. Whereas us normal people that haven't really gone into that kind of deep academic adventure, we don't have that same level of understanding, and I think people that, especially those that even Trump. Why was this guy not wearing a mask, making it seem like, oh, the media is going to make me seem weak? No, Mike, no, kid. All we're gonna do is make sure that if you made for example, let's just say if Trump made Trump masks, do you think anybody in this base would be going, "Fuck you, Constitution, we need masks. We don't want masks"? Of course not. Listen, if their whole thing is stop forcing us to wear things, then why the fuck are you wearing a seatbelt? For the safety of yourself and others. Corona, why are you wearing a mask? For the safety of yourself and others. It's not fucking super complicated. It's actually quite simple. When I don't wear a mask and I kill somebody because of my incompetence, does that not make me liable now? So this whole not wearing a mask thing is stupid, and it shouldn't even take anybody. All sides should be saying wear a mask, and not mandating it, but just saying wear a mask. Because why is the right saying, oh, we don't know yet, but why is the left saying, oh, guys, wear a mask, and then all of a sudden it becomes some political football until now when it's all gone tits up and now everybody has to do it, right? So it always takes fucking up several times for people to actually get on the right page, which is just fucking sad. 60,000 cases in the last 2 days, and this is not even the end of it. And the deaths are getting to 900 a day, and it's going to get to 2,000, 3,000 a day. Yeah, I mean, we saw this coming, but 3 million for now, and I expect it to get to probably 4 million by, I don't know. Yeah, it'll get to 4 million ish. I don't know how the next few months will go, and I don't know how it'll be in the fall when schools have to reopen and all that good stuff. But it's not looking too rosy at the moment. So.